Uh, welcome.
Back.
We're going to follow along with the video. That's the directions. Even Mr. Surface is saying, follow along on your Chromebook. Oh no, my dog ate my Chromebook. Send that dog to the vet. And of course, use paper if you are without a computer and show Mr. Surface tomorrow when he's back. We are going to do 10 minutes of independent reading, please. So go ahead and find your independent reading book, please. If you are the substitute in the room, you may now pause the video for 10 minutes and use the timer on the smartboard. It's magnetized. Just turn it to 10 minutes. And for the next 10 minutes, students should be reading their chosen independent reading books silently. Please take the time to pause the video now. Nice work. So you can absolutely access these slides, students, in Google Slides, in Google Classroom. It'll say subwork and classwork, and you just click on that. I can also give you the code, all right? And the code is, so the code is FBXJNZ. Repeat after me. FBX
FBX.
JNZ.
JNZ.
That's your code. That'll get you right into it. And of course, you go to joinpd.com, right? So that code, one more time, FBX
FBX.
JNZ.
JNZ.
Good job, kiddos. All right, let's start it. We did our independent reading. That's behind us. We are now on slide 3. If you could take the time to also write this down. All right, first we're going to start with that I. You got your I, you got your I, you got that W. Yes, don't let that W trouble you. It's just a W. B. A, the letter B, just write that B, then get that A. A, A, A. Hey, now get that T. I will be able to examine historical details while memorizing a new vocabulary word, especially if you are using paper. Now is the time to write your target, of course, and your name and date. If you got your name on there, I got points for you. If I don't have your name, I got a 0 for you. Please make sure you take care of that. Slide 4, the colors will change, but the target stays the same. Examining historical details, using the book The Castle Diary, while memorizing a new vocabulary word. So, how does The Castle Diary build my knowledge of identity, experience, and opportunity in the Middle Ages? Well, let me go ahead and show you what you guys will be doing as students with this slide. This slide right here allows you to draw, highlight, make lines, type, or erase. Me, I'm going to set up a highlighter with a little bit of mustard yellow. And I'm going to take the time to highlight all of the biggest words. So some of the biggest words I got here are castle, life, diary. Now I'm going to switch it over to orange. And I'm going to get some of those medium-sized words. What other words are repeated a lot? Yup, story, castles, 11-year-old. Ooh, one of my favorites, medieval. Now I'm going to switch it over to greenish, and I'm going to get some of the other words that are sticking out to me, right? How does Castle Diary build my knowledge of identity? Well, if you want to be a knight, you're going to have an identity about that job, right? And we're going to learn a very important word about knights today. All right, we're going to learn how knights live, the code that they live by, and how sometimes that code can put them in a hard spot. Miles, you got to lie down, buddy.
I can't.
All right, so you got to get in here. Come on,
I
now,
can't
now, 1. All right. So please repeat after me. Chivalry.
Chivalry.
Noun.
Noun.
Knightly moral code.
Knightly moral code.
Excellent. Now, inside of that word chivalry are a lot of other words that you might recognize. So we're going to use the link strategy. When I go, you better link, you have to answer right away with the word link. So I'll sing it a few times, but I'd like you guys to get used to this song. You better link. Right? That's how you do it. So I'm looking at this word chivalry. 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 And here's the first thing that I hear for this particular link. I hear the word shiv. Oops. Let's make this word a little bigger, huh? I hear the word shiv. Shiv. Come on. Shiv. Please take the time to put shiv in the reminding word box, please. So now you have to use the word shiv. Oops. The word shiv and nightly moral code in the linking story. Well, a shiv is a small knife. So I'm going to say a shiv would violate the nightly moral code, period. And then I would draw a little shiv. So I'm going to put this little handle there, and I'm going to get a little blue there, and I'm going to put a sad knight right up here in the corner. That knight's, whoops. That knight's thinking, oh boy, not liking this situation. Maybe you can draw a better picture. If so, good for you. All right, but please take 5 minutes to make your screen look just like Mr. Surface's. Please take 5 minutes to make your screen just like Mr. Surface's, or if you're copying in your notebooks, to copy down this entire table. Please take the time to do so now for 5 minutes. Excellent. Slide 7. So if we're going to pick up with March 19th, students without a Chromebook can follow along starting with March 19th. March 19th. So please take the time to page through the book and find March 19th. It's a Monday. As we read along, we're going to highlight a few things that help us understand chivalry. March 19th, Monday. Played at nights. Please highlight nights with Mark, Oliver, and Humphrey today. As Mark is bigger than me, he was the horse and I rode his back. We won. Oliver toppled his horse and got a bloody nose. Serves him right. Now, I'm going to do a different color for this because serves him right is not necessarily being very chivalrous. For he did twist my ears most painfully and call me the worst names when I wore my new shirt. March 20th, Tuesday. Wrote yesterday by candle's flicker and fell asleep with a quill in hand. When I awoke, the candle had set the pages alight and would have turned my straw mattress or worse, or burned my straw mattress or worse, if Humphrey had not smelled smoke and beat out the flames. This morning, Chaplain likewise beat my backside to teach me care with candles, he said. Ate saltfish again today. Disgusting. Here they are more careful to follow the church's rules than at home. And besides every Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday being fish days, they also eat fish on each church festival. This means we eat vile fish more often than flesh or fowl. Please take a moment to highlight everything that connects with that word chivalry. Please do so now. Excellent work. Slide 8. Let's do another link for chivalry. You better link.
Link.
It's a nightly moral code. So, what other words do I hear inside of that word chivalry? Chivalry, hivalry, alry, chivalry, chival. Ooh, I see one. It says IV, like you get in the hospital. Well, I like that quite a bit. So I'm going to make my words just a little bit bigger, and I'm going to put the words I. I'm going to attempt to put the words IV right there. So I've got to use the term IV in nightly moral code. Well, I got one. The nightly moral code got me in trouble, and I woke up with an IV. So let's go ahead and draw that as well. Me, I've got my knight. He had just finished his joust. So there's a lance over here. And he woke up and he's on an IV. And an IV is gonna, get some water into his arm or some nutrients and get him nursed back to life after he had that terrible scrape, um, you know, being a knight. So there we are. And he's feeling better. So I'm going to put a little happy face on him. Please take a moment for you to either take 5 minutes for you to have a link that looks just like this for the word chivalry again, either on your screen or on a piece of paper. Please do so now. Slide 9. Right? You can see we have a knight here, and we're still thinking about that important vocabulary word, chivalry. Please repeat after me. Chivalry.
Chivalry.
Said chivalry.
Chivalry.
Knightly moral code.
Nightly moral code.
Nice job. Watch my uncle practice for the joust today. Fighting is part of the knightly moral code. He charged 11 times at a wooden ring hung from a tree and caught it on his lance 5 times. It takes much skill to lift the ring from its hook while galloping at full speed, and all who saw this agree it bodes well for the contest. April 22nd, the Lord's Day. Tomorrow begins the jousts. The host of noble knights, ooh, there's that word noble and knights, who accepted my uncle's challenge, are lodged at an inns nearby or are encamped upon the fields outside the castle. 2 score gaily colored tents sprouted in the night like mushrooms, flying from lances planted in the ground. The knight's pennants look like flowers in a spring meadow. All the talk of who shall prevail, methinks, the men of the castle guard place wagers on the winner. I pray my uncle shall vanquish them all. April 23rd, a Monday. All right, let's think about this word chivalry some more. All right, repeat after me. Chivalry.
Chivalry.
Knightly moral code.
Nightly moral code.
Excellent. So, chival. Ooh, you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like the word civil. So, I'm going to make a new link and I'm going to use this word, civil. Again. And I'm going to go ahead and come up with this link here. I'm going to say the nightly moral code had a civil component. And then I'm going to draw a knight being extra polite. So, what's this knight doing? Well, he's got his head there and he is standing, and it looks like he is got his helmet on too, and he's holding the door and being very civil to a young lady who is walking through it. These beautiful tresses, she's walking through the door. So I've got my Nightly moral code. My dude is being civil, right? There's my reminding word. And I've got my nightly moral code. Boom. Please take 5 minutes for you to either make your screen look like this or to copy this down on paper if you don't have a screen. Take the time to do so now, please. Back to taking notes to help us better understand the word chivalry. Say chivalry.
Chivalry.
Say chivalry.
Chivalry.
Say nightly moral code.
Nightly moral code.
This being the feast day of St. George, right? So we've already got a religious holiday, which is part of that code, of course. The whole castle was astir well before sunrise in preparation for the jousts. All the clashes were keenly fought. Miles shush, but I shall give account of my uncle's combat first. His opponent was Lord Sudbury. Everyone from the castle and the village folk besides gathered eagerly to watch their charge. After some ceremony, of which I shall tell later, the two knights trotted to opposite ends of the lists, which is what they call the strip of field where the combat takes place. When they were some 300 paces apart, they turned to face one another. The sunlight danced on their shiny helms, and on the bright colors of their familiar arms blazoned on their shields and armor. On the command, "Liazaye!" from a herald, both knights urged their horses forward. Pricked with sharp spurs, the snorting horses galloped faster and faster until they ran as swift as a March gale. Each knight aimed his lance at the shield of the other, and the watchers cried, "Huzzah!" when my uncle stayed on his horse and knocked Sudbury to the ground. 3 times my uncle toppled Sudbury. Please take a moment to make your screen highlighted just like mine. Slide 12. Let's go over this word again. Chivalry.
Chivalry.
Nightly moral code.
Nightly moral code.
Now, inside of that word chivalry, I see the name Val, short for Valerie. So I'm going to use Val and Nightly Moral Code. And here's the story that I'm going to come up with. Val had a nightly moral code that always had her jousting. And then I'm going to draw Val jousting a little bit. First, I'm going to draw a horse. There we are. There's the horse's legs. And then I'm going to draw the horse's head, right? And then on top of the horse, I'm going to draw Val. And she's astride the horse. And she's astride the horse. Stop doing that. There we are. Astride the horse, and she's got her lance. And she has beautiful blonde hair. And there she goes. Please take a moment, and if you could please highlight the reminding word, which is Val, and nightly moral code, which is the definition. Please take a moment to make your screen, your slide 12, look like Mr. Surface's, or to copy this down in your notebook. Please take 5 minutes. Do so now. Excellent. Now, let's go ahead and continue with the story. All right, we are still highlighting and looking for things that help us with chivalry,
Chivalry.
right? Which means showing how honorable you are in combat. At the third meeting, though, the force of Sudbury's blow lifted my uncle, too, clean from the saddle. Those who watched gasped, "Alas!" in fear for my uncle's life. But he quickly rose to his fist and raised his iron gloves to still the hubbub. Then, though, he found that he could not raise the visor on his helm, so twisted it was from the fall, and when later the heralds announced that my uncle was the victor, he was nowhere to be found. At length, a search of the castle discovered my uncle in the armory, with his head laid on an anvil, and the smith at work upon his helm. This surely was a wonder the smith could remove it without harming a hair on my uncle's head. Please take a moment to make your screen look like Mr. Surface's. Let's take a moment and make sure we got this word chivalry. Chivalry, knightly moral code.
Mighty oracle.
All right. Me, this time, I see Volry. Well, that's like the German word Valkyrie. Valkyrie. And a Valkyrie is a warrior. So I think it's not too tough to say that the Valkyrie had a knightly moral code. In the Valkyrie, they had horses as well, but they did. They had horses as well, of which some could fly, if I understand the legend as well, and I don't understand it particularly well. So I'm going to have some wings out here. There's a wing there. There's a wing there. And then I got the Valkyrie sitting astride their horse. So there's one of the Valkyrie. And they got the one leg over to Pegasus, the other leg right. Oh boy. Let's undo that. There we are. And of course, this Valkyrie has arms and a sword is going into battle. And this is a Valkyrie that's got a knightly moral code going off to do good in the world. All right, please take about 5 minutes to make your screen or your notebook look just like Mr. Surface's for the word Valkyrie again, or for the word chivalry again. April 25th, Wednesday. And just a reminder, we are still looking for evidence that helps us with the word chivalry,
Chivalry.
knightly moral code.
Mighty oracle.
There seems each day of the jousts to be less sport than the day before, and more boring ceremony. Before combat begins each morning, the knights withdraw to their arming tents, where a squire helps him dress for the jousts. When they return, they are fully armed, and there is much bowing low and making of speeches. When these dull preparations are complete, the heralds proclaim the names of the combatants, whose faces are hidden behind their shiny helms. Only then do the first two knights face each other and spur their horses on, and to my mind, the excitement that follows is over far too soon. My man loves those jousting fights. So, the word chivalry. You can find it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's the word fairness. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Then constancy, loyalty, courtly manners, trueness, truthfulness, virtuousness, and justness, all synonyms for chivalry. Your job for the next 10 minutes is to try to find as many of these terms as you can. Remember, there's about 30 chivalries in there, so you can spend a lot of time knocking out chivalry. But I'd also like you to find some of the synonyms for chivalry too. Please take 10 minutes to complete this word search. 10 minutes to complete this word search right now on slide 16. Excellent. Hopefully you found them all or many. Final slide. Please repeat after me. Chivalry.
Chivalry.
Knightly moral code.
Knightly moral code.
Excellent. One of the last and one of the easiest ones I see in there is such a useful term, and it's the word high. How can I use the word high in knightly moral code? Oh, I know. Doug said hi to everyone because Doug was a knight and had a knightly moral code. Right? And if you've ever seen Doug, Doug's big. Big. He's got kind of a small, lumpy head, long body, long legs, and he's always flexing all the time. And here he's saying hi to us. Whoops. And there he's saying hi to us, right? Again, this is to help us memorize the word chivalry. We got the word high as a reminding word and knightly moral code as our definition. Please make this final slide look like yours. You may go back to 16 if you did not finish the word search. Excellent listening today. All right, please make sure you keep the room clean. Substitutes, of course, you can reach out to me via email any old time you like. I'll be keeping an extra close watch while I'm away doing my thing.